What's up guys, welcome back to a new video. Today we're gonna have a super cool tutorial on how to breed any crawfish that you want. That means any color, any species, and almost any phenotype that you desire can be achieved. The videos we're going to be using come from a crayfish farmer that lives in Indonesia, and he's discovered the secrets of crayfish breeding. I am an amateur breeder myself. I've done a few crayfish breeds, and it's overall such a fun, great experience that I would encourage anyone to try. And guess what? If that's your pastime and you do it once a month, you're going to be able to make passive income every month just for breeding crayfish. So let's get into this. Alright, so the first order of business in setting up your crayfish farm is going to be choosing the right species as well as the right colors. The easiest way to go is buying a crayfish that's already pregnant. That way you can guarantee what the babies are going to look like. Although the most fun way to do it is to choose a male and a female that you sex beforehand. You can put them in a small tank, maybe 2 gallons or less, or you can use buckets just like the professional breeders do. When they're in this container, that's where the magic is going to happen. The male pins down the female using her pinchers, and this is kind of some brutal riz, I'm not going to lie. But after that, the female's going to take about a month, and she's going to be able to have up to 300 eggs, but usually it's in the 100 to 200 range. And once these eggs appear, the gestation period is going to be about 2 weeks, although it could be longer. You can see here that the babies are actually fully hatched, but they're still hanging on to their mama. That only occurs for about a few days, and then the crayfish are going to leave her protection. And although it may sound sad, you have to take the mother right out of the tank because she can easily eat these babies. They're tiny and they're super susceptible to predators. You may also notice that they have no color right now, and that's because they're just newborns, but the color is going to come in very soon. This is at 2 weeks and you can already see it in these little baby crayfish. What you can also observe is that they're not all the same size. There are some runts of the litter, there are some chads, and there are some beauties with amazing colors. What we're going for here is actually colorways because that's what makes them valuable. Also, make sure that your water is above 60 degrees at all times. Someone might debate me on this in the comments, but as long as you're oxygenating the water, having a higher temperature is actually going to help them grow faster. Right here we have an example of a crayfish that was bred successfully, and now there's an entire lineage. She's with the dad, and they passed on their genetic traits to 6 different crayfish. These are all going to sell for about $100. These are pretty rare. And like most girls, crayfish, their time comes once a month where they molt. Crayfish molt because they have to shed their hard exoskeletons as they grow a new, larger one underneath. So this crayfish is essentially ripping off its old skin and coming out with a new birthday suit underneath. Oh, I bet that was satisfying for the crayfish to come off. What's different about their molt is that they change colors. That's because they have so many different genetics for this variation, and as they grow, their colors are going to change and get more vibrant. Once they're adults, you can take out the prettiest ones of every color and use these as your breeder crawfish for the next generation. Welcome to the Exotic Lobster Showcase. Here, I'm going to be ranking the top lobsters from this breeder from 1 to 10. All of the lobsters at this point are going to be very high rankings, so you're going to have to wait and see who's a 10. Alright, so these are some red cherry lobsters. You would not be able to find these at your local fish store, and I'm going to go ahead and give them an 8.5. Great solid colors, beautiful, good growth as well, but they also could be a little more special. Next is a purple ghost lobster and a black king. I think I'm going to give the purple ghost an 8 out of 10, and the black king gets a 9 because I've never seen a midnight black color like that. Now the species for all of these has been alleni, but this species is actually a cherax volcano, and this is probably going to be a 10. Not only do they have sick two-tone coloring on them, but the male and female are different colors and they're going to make a beautiful baby. This species also has giant claws. They're very aggressive and they're fun to keep. This is a male and a female purple Valentine lobster, and this is gonna earn a 9.5 out of 10 from me. The giant pinchers, the colors, everything about these two looks perfect. Okay, so this is basically a one-off species that you would never see in the wild. He bred this on accident in his farm. It's called a blue cow crayfish, and I'm gonna give it a 9.5 out of 10. It's crazy how you can breed something on accident and have it turn out even better than you expected. Just shows you how beautifully genetics works, and this is really a cool hobby. It's making me very interested in doing another crayfish breed. Okay guys, so I think if I'm gonna buy a crayfish from this guy, this would be the one. The phenotype is called a pink Valentine crayfish. I gotta give this a 10 out of 10, not just because of the colors, but because of the babies. It's so fun to raise a bunch of baby crayfish. And even though this is gonna be about twice the price of a normal pink Valentine, you gotta just think about the potential profit you could make with a pregnant crayfish like this. He said that the species is at a 95% stability rate, and that basically means that most of these babies are gonna turn out really well, and you could potentially sell most of them for over $100. So if crayfish breeding is your hobby, this could be a great business move to get ahead of the curve. You buy a more expensive crayfish, but in return you get to sell fewer babies at that higher cost and make the same profit. So if you're interested in breeding crayfish, let this be your motivation to get started. These are a few videos from when I bred my crawfish. I'm not an expert on breeding these at all, and I still got about 200 babies on the first try breeding mine. It was way more crayfish than expected, and they were so aggressive that I had to take them out of the tank and buy a bigger one. Even though personally I love their color, these wouldn't sell for more than a common crayfish at any fish store, and that's about $6. But say I bought a Chad crayfish, that would go for about $100. These high quality crayfish produce 8 to 16 babies with the perfect phenotype, so that would get you about $1,600 to $3,200. You could have another 100 to 200 lobsters that survive, so with these you can sell them as well. They're just not going to go for as much. In this batch that we're looking at, all of them came out pretty well, so I think we're looking at about $3,000 right here, which is pretty impressive. If you made it this far, let me know down in the comments below, would you ever keep a lobster and breed it for profit or for fun? And do you think that I should do it myself and document the process? If you enjoyed, consider leaving a like. It helps my videos in the algorithm, and peace out.